Hello and welcome back to Level Up Architects, the channel where we explore the world of architecture one architect at a time. Before we jump into the architect of the day, or well, architecture firm in this case, I just quickly would like to remind everyone of Thankmas 2021. On the 11th of December, I'll be streaming live to raise funds for New Story, a charity organization that builds houses for people who are suffering from homelessness. So please come join me on the 11th of December and hang out and have a chat, and we'll look at some cool things. Thank you. Yes. I also would like to remind everyone, please follow me on your social media of choice. I will keep everyone up to date on everything that's happening on the channel on social media as well. I think you should subscribe if you're new to the channel. If you're already subscribed, thank you very much. Hit the like button if you enjoy the videos and ring the bell to get notified when I do go live. So let's jump into today's architect. Today we are looking at MVRDV, a very, very cool Dutch architecture firm. It's probably one of the coolest firms out there at the moment. They're really cool. They pursue a fascination for radical, investigative spatial research focusing on the urban landscape and the public realm. Fancy words for very, very cool buildings. So the founders are Winnie Maas, Jacob van Res, and Nathalie de Vries. What I want to show you is that this firm isn't just one person, it's a collective, and it's a huge collective. They have so many staff members. It's unreal how many people they have. So no wonder they get to pump out the amount of cool buildings that they do. Yes, like look at all of these wonderful people. I imagine that each and every one of them has a critical role in the functioning of this firm. And yes, they're huge and they focus on very much public buildings. But let's jump over to the first project, and I'll show you what type of things they do. The first project that we're going to be looking at is called Crystal Houses. It's in Amsterdam and was built in 2016. This is a very, very interesting smaller scale project by them. I am absolutely fascinated by this. You can see that there is this one little shop in the middle, but I don't know if it's not really that easy to see what's going on the image, but what's happening is that they ended up creating a flagship store with a glass facade. And instead of creating the facade with bricks, they created them with glass bricks, specially made glass bricks. So for me, this is a very perfect intersection between heritage and the needs of a contemporary flagship store. So most flagships just have very simple glazing in front, and in this way they get to have both. You can still see the merchandise in the store while having the vernacular and the Dutch heritage proudly on display. Just want to show you how cool this looks. I'm going to play this video by them to see how they made the glass bricks, and they ended up using some form of I think UV activated resin to stick the glass bricks onto one another. I just want to skip the yeah, there you can see some of the glass bricks pouring them. Yeah, they demolished basically the entire building and rebuilt it in a very traditional Dutch fashion, but with just that little bit of coolness and magic, I would say. I love it. I think it's beautiful. I think later in this video there are some really good examples of how how cool the brick facade looks next to the traditional bricks stand out amongst the glass bricks. also want to point out that even the window frames of this building is actually made of glass. Like, I don't even know how one would go about creating a window frame from glass. They're crazy. They're absolutely crazy. This is. I was hoping I could see that little spot. Here. Look at how comfortably traditional bricks sit within the glass bricks. Yes, I think it's gorgeous. I think it's very clever, and I think this sort of gives everyone a very good introduction about the whimsy and magic that MVRDV brings to the world of architecture. This is Ypenburg in The Hague, the Netherlands, and it was completed in 2015. The big reason I wanted to show this project is Thankmas 2021 that we will be doing. I wanted to showcase how different typologies of housing can be very important in a single project. So this project is kind of like a bunch of islands, each island showcasing its own form of suburban typology. So it would be aimed at a two-person family or new couples, or another island would be focused on single people, or it would be focused on larger, more established families. So you can see in this image very clearly how each island, almost like a very big block of islands, has a different sort of structure to it and has a different urban fabric and design ethos behind it, simply because they were focusing on a different family unit type. And I think that's very, very clever and very important in housing projects going into the future, is to take into consideration who you are trying to house. This is a very cool project. I think anyone would be very lucky to live in a place like this. Look, the Netherlands doesn't really, I don't want to say they don't have a housing crisis. Everywhere has a housing crisis, but their form of housing crisis takes a completely different form than, say, India's housing crisis. So this is their answer of how to solve the housing crisis in the Netherlands. I think it's a gorgeous example, and the colors, I mean, isn't that just amazing? They have such style with these projects. It's unbelievable. Let's go over to the next project. This is Haus am Hang in Stuttgart, Germany, and was completed in 2005. The reason I picked this project is I wanted to show how MVRDV implementing such a big idea into such a small single family dwelling. Here you can see the atrium space, which becomes the public spaces. Like there's a lounge on one of these atriums. And what's also very cool about this house is every room has access to the outside. And I think that's quite special. The Netherlands has a very keen idea of how to approach nature and how to incorporate nature and be sort of ecosystemic in a way. And I love that. I think it's a gorgeous, gorgeous house. This is the Netherlands Pavilion at the Expo 2000 in Hanover, Germany. This is a crazy building. I can't even explain how crazy this building is. Look, it's an expo, very much like the Raj Raval building we showcased in one of the previous episodes. I'll leave a card somewhere at the top. You'll see it to that video if you want to go watch it. These kinds of buildings are there to showcase what a country can do and sort of what the design ethics are of a country. Raj Raval's expo center got demolished eventually. So this one does face a similar fate. However, they had a very, very clever trick up their sleeve with this building. But let me first show you the building. You can almost start seeing how things are stacked on top of one another, with this gigantic staircase sort of helixing its way around the building. What this pavilion was meant to showcase especially was making the most of limited space in the Netherlands. So what MVRDV did is they literally stacked 6 different types of landscapes on top of one another. That's right, they actually made different types of ecosystems in a building. Here you can see sort of a forest ecosystem, but I think the magic of this building really shows itself when you look at the section of the building. It's this image. Here you can see the 6 different layers, and not all the layers are the same height. Nothing is modular. It's very much almost organic in a way that they've approached it. So that level would be one ecosystem, that is another ecosystem, another ecosystem. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ecosystems until you get to the roof with wind turbines to power some of the elements of the building. And I think it shows how the Netherlands are very progressive when it comes to sustainability as well. I just love these gigantic tree-like beams that hold up the structure. I think there are images showcasing that very, very clearly. Yeah, here you can see, look at how this isn't a tree, that's a column. that's a column in a very traditional sense. The first columns were trees, they were. So that's a giant column in a very, very cool way. So what I've read about this building, and if I understand correctly, instead of demolishing it, because it has no more use at the moment, because I mean this expo was in 2000, what they are going to do is partially demolish the building, so probably demolish bits of the interior, and they are going to retrofit it and create a shared workspace, sort of like an office building where someone can rent literally just a desk and come and work there. So it becomes this very amazing shared workspace, and it has a life. Instead of it going to waste, this building will live on, which I think is fantastic. Again, this really shows off how MVRDV has this sort of whimsical nature to them, and I absolutely love it. This is Book Mountain in Spijkenisse, the Netherlands. It was completed in 2012. Now, Book Mountain is the reason I fell in love with MVRDV's projects. MVRDV really showcases their magic in this project in such a fantastic way. In the Netherlands, they call it Boekberg, which is very similar to Afrikaans. It's perfect Afrikaans, actually. It's literally a mountain of books. So let's start by showing you this. What the designers did was they took all of the portions of the building, so say the front desk, the book stacks, the reading rooms. They took all of those functions and stacked them in the center, sort of almost like you would stack a bunch of blocks. Stacking seems to be quite a thing in my videos, I've noticed, but they've stacked all of these things into a pile, almost creating like a ziggurat pyramid structure. Those then were clad with bookshelves to create the actual library itself, and then there are actual spaces in between those stacks as well, creating other spaces like conference rooms and a screening room for cinema nights and so on. And then what they finally did was sort of enclose this book mountain in a glass box. Well, a timber and glass box. Here's a very nice video that they also have on their website, showing how they sort of went about designing this building and what their thoughts are. There are a couple of things I would like to point out during this video. Is the use of brick, but the use of brick doesn't just stop on the walls. You will see shortly that the bricks are on the floor as well. That is the very same paving material that is used in the rest of the urban landscape around them. So what happens is the exterior street on the outside of the building literally flows and then goes all around the bookshelves and all around the book mountain to the very, very top, creating a street within the building, which I think is fascinating. I love it when architects take the urban fabric from outside and pull it into the building. I think it's great. They also incorporated shops and offices on the exterior of the book mountain. I think it's absolutely lovely the way they've achieved this building. Let me quickly show you this one image. Here you can see how sort of the glass and timber box and then the pyramid-like structure on the of the actual book mountain. You can see there are spaces hidden below the mount and in the mountain itself, which I think is fascinating. A lot of people like to go to this library just because they want to sort of wander around and take a little bit of a exploratory walk around the city. Not even interested in necessarily reading a book, but a lot of people do end up coming here studying. There are little nooks where people can sit at a desk and read or take out their laptop and work. And yes, I think it's such a wonderful project, and it really is the reason why I fell in love with MVRDV. I hope everyone enjoyed that little showcase of the work of MVRDV. If anyone has any questions in the chat, I'd be willing to take them now. But in the meantime, I'm quickly going to remind everyone that they should follow me. No, not that side, that side. They should follow me on their choice of social media to stay abreast of everything that's happening. Thank you for the lovely comments, Jacqueline. I am glad you love it. I certainly love it as well. I also want to remind everyone, if you've made it this far in the video and you haven't subscribed yet, I have a special offer for you. Subscribing is free only for today, so go ahead and subscribe. If you enjoyed the video and if you're still here, give me a like on the video and ring the bell so that you get notified when I go live. Lo, I'm glad you love their designs as well. Some of it is really, really impressive, and I literally only scratched the surface of how cool MVRDV's projects are. They have so many other projects. If you're interested in looking at them, their website is really fantastic, and they have a ton of projects on there. I mean, it's so much that I think that some of their projects don't even get listed on their website because they're such a big firm. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.